taking their story, a part of their story, just a snippet, and they're diving into the individual, adopting the feelings that they have, and then releasing it. And somehow, the inmates start to change. What is that? What is that? So as you guys share and release and forgive, dive into it. Dive all the way into it. And then fully let it go. I was talking, Billy, it's interesting because we share a little connection of dads and stuff like that. I was talking about my dad. I'm like, man, I just realized that dude's just another human being, right? That's what it helped me to realize. So, and also understand that it's for your particular purpose in life to go through whatever you went through. For some reason, it may seem like, no, that was terrible. That was terrible, right? It can be. But for some reason, you're in that experience. And you have two choices. You can either go this way with it, or you can go that way with it. And it's totally up to you. You can either share it, you can hold it in and catch that dis-ease and try to figure out what's wrong with me. Why am I having all these problems? It's because you're holding on to something. You gotta let it go. And once you fully let it go, then you'll start thriving. Everything will feel better. Now again, it's a process. It's not going to just instantaneously happen. But going through activities such as that are extremely important. I've been through the program. I haven't been releasing lately because I'm like, I feel pretty good. But that's what the program has. It's one of the very first things you do in the 120-day challenge. It's release the past. It's like, but are you just doing that and going through the motions, or are you really diving into it? Again, it's that application. It's the stuff that we learn, and we want y'all to leave with something that you'll actually be like, okay, let's go. Let's apply this. Let's do it. Let's actually get into it. Because otherwise, it's just, you might as well go watch Netflix. It's the same thing. You can learn the same thing from a movie if you dive into it that much. But really, really, really try and conceptualize, what am I becoming here? Why is this for me? Why are you guys here? Why is your living experience, why are you presented with all of this information? It's really, really, really important to keep that in mind.
All right, so would any brave souls like to share their experience?
Start. I always start.
By the way, David's the one that actually made it. You know, it's kind of a cool story I got to tell about that. I came in one day, and it was crazy. I was training like 9 sessions away. I walk in one day. I don't know how you did it. Like I would shower in the little sink in there. It was really weird. I come out from my shower, and that's there. And I was like, I'm looking around. I mean, it's early. It was like 4:30 in the morning. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what the hell happened? I didn't know for a long time. He actually made it and dropped it off, so that was pretty cool. So, but Dave, go ahead.
Bear with me. I'll try and get this right, and not waffle on too long. It's going to be random, but I started out. It's funny you talk about intensity and emotion. I talked to Melissa, and she came up to me and shared. She just asked me. I didn't realize this was going to be so, emotional or raw to and it wasn't a negative thing. I think she was pleasantly surprised, and we chit-chatted for a while. And again, because I'm good at maybe giving advice, I think sometimes I'm absolutely terrible at taking it. But I gave her the advice. I sort of, and it's literally said, why are you even here if you do not open yourself up and sort of open up the wounds and just sort of lay it all on the table. And the great thing about doing it here right now is there's I guarantee you, there's not one person in here who's going to sit and judge you and go, "Oh, you idiot," or "You don't." They're not. You're going to be embraced physically. You're going to be embraced emotionally. You're going to be embraced in every way, and the people will start to sort of feel love for you. So Kev's right. Take this opportunity to really sort of crash into it. I mean, I'm going to do the 120-day challenge. I'll show you it shouldn't be a sad. Why the freaking heck is this so sad? But I mean, so I come in here. And I come in here because it's always been a place of, I'll come and look at these dopey ceilings and I'll get us some meditative, I do. I walk in here, I trip out. I mean, it's just weird. It's just a home for me. But I mean, I walk in here looking for breakfast. Actually, no, that's going to be my new name. Dave Anytime coaches by on breakfast. But I mean, there was something bothering me, and it was this almost guilt, like I was fake. I didn't belong here. I was walking in, and I was just a fake son of a gun. And I know kind of one of the reasons was because they didn't do the 120. I was being lazy. All the things I wrote down to try and forgive myself: laziness, running away, stop fleeing. So, I'm sitting here among these, something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and it popped into my head. I gotta go home and just sit in the couch. I gotta escape. I gotta run away. I gotta sort of, what the hell is that? I know that's gonna sort of maybe take a little bit more of a psychoanalysis, a long-term thing. Just why the freaking heck do I do that? There was one of the times I showed up, and we went to the cold plunge, and I knew that I was welcome, but I always felt and then you guys invited me, and everybody else. We went to the rooftop, and I didn't go, and I hurt myself, on purpose, and it still hurts me. And why would I do that to myself? Just like punish myself like that? So it's that's what I gotta stop trying to do is punishing myself for no reason whatsoever. I look around this room and I want people to share because I want to learn from them. I want to learn from every single one of you. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear. And I'm sorry, maybe I want to hear your pain. Not because I want to be in pain, but I want to sort of, and it's not because, I suffer too, Robert. It's not that. It's just that, just because you get bonded by this community of people who are trying to sort of help themselves and then sort of help everybody else in their life. This, generational thing. There was this desire. It was incredibly important because we started talking about children, and I love children. I don't know why. I just love them because they're so innocent, and so untouched, and so gorgeous. And it doesn't matter if they're a Chinese baby or an Irish baby or an African American baby or if they're an English baby. It doesn't matter. You look at it. If you go to Ethiopia and you look at the wee babies in Ethiopia, they're beautiful. They're just freaking beautiful because they're untouched. And it's us that F them up. And who F'd us up? I mean, we're not F, but let's just go with the rationale. We're all F'd up. My mom and dad F'd me up. Who F'd them up? Maybe their mom and dad. So when we talk about this generational shift, yes, we talk about it in terms of finances, but it also has to be a sort of emotional and a mental generational shift, and that's what we're here for.
100%. Yeah.
To make the children beautiful, and then make our children teach their children to be beautiful, and then the world will be a better.
That's what we're talking about. It's like somebody has to put a line in the sand. Somebody has to, right?
Well, I think in my world, my perspective is if I can't lead myself, how do I expect others to follow me?
Right. Yes.
And that is a challenge that I have because I know that I'm not nearly as disciplined as I should be.
Sure.
People think I'm disciplined. I'm like, you have no idea.
Right.
Like I just appear disciplined. I'm just good at I'm just good at delegation.
Yeah, that's not.
But that's not discipline.
Sure.
And so you can't, and how do you expect others to follow you if you don't know what you're doing yourself. And so that's where, like, that's a little bit of the struggle that I have, is like, because I know where I'm at and I know where I should be,
Yeah.
and I'm not even remotely close to there. And I've worked hard and I've done okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm financially okay, not where I want to be.
Sure.
You know, and in life I'm not. You know, my life's a pretty solid shit show. So you know, it's if you need to know how not to do something, just call me.
That's awesome.
I got a whole list.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do. Just don't do this.
Yeah.
So you know, figure out how you can be a good leader for yourself
That's it.
and lead by example.
Yep.
And that's what I've tried to do in my world. I'm not perfect by any means.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Anything else, John?
So this was a really interesting experience for us, right? I'm not going to talk about the topic, but it was interesting as we were talking about our topic, we both got guilty of the same topic. And you're like, holy crap, at the end of the day, you look at it and go, I thought I was the only one. And then you realize, oh yeah, we're no real different, right? We all have the same thing, but to actually have the same exact kind of guilt for the same topic is really interesting. So you can really understand each other, and you're really looking and go, oh, okay, I'm not that different, right? And maybe I'm not that. And the reality is, the topic that we're guilty for is something that society sets a high standard for that almost nobody can achieve. So we're almost feeling guilty for something that nobody can achieve anyway.
Yes.
Right? So you got this guilt, and it's eating away at you, and other people are also feeling it. And the reality is most people are never going to achieve it. So it's just kind of messed up how society sets you up. But it makes you feel good to be able to talk about it with somebody else and realize you're not the only one in that boat. And it then becomes so much easier, right? Forget me, chime in here if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
It just becomes easier because you're like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm
Yep.
not alone in this.
Yeah.
Right?
I also think it's a matter of perspective, because half the world would kill you where you are. The other half would die if they were where you are.
Yeah. And it's been exacerbated by social media too. Is that the right word? Exacerbated? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
It's a word now. But exacerbated by social media is because now, I mean, we help some influencers, and it's like their lives are nothing like you see. Nothing. And that's the trap that then we're helping them with, because they're like, I'm trapped. I literally have built this character around myself, and it's killing people. It's literally killing people. And imagine a world where everybody just went on their social media and said, man, I'm fucked up. Like, that's fine. Like, we would heal. The world would heal, and what we're all doing is we're trying to grab onto, like, you know, I mean, look at abs, right? And I'm not trying to pick on you, but, you know, the guy has a perfect body, right? But you know what happened? He was looking at David and going, damn, David's big and strong. Like, he was looking at David as this big, strong person. And David's like, I wish I had abs. And Ab's like, man, I wish I was as big as him. And it's like, you're looking at abs like, damn, I wish I had those abs. You know? And so it's like, but know that we're all, like, everybody goes through that. And it's a very healing process to understand that you are who you are, and you have different fingerprint and different DNA. And once you find that, now we're finding out who we are. And you find out who you are. It's very, very powerful. And then you have these empathetic conversations with people. So when someone's coming at you, they're just coming at you from the level of vibration that they're at. And so if they're like, you are doing this, all they're saying is put the word I in front of every statement. You're not hanging out. You're not doing this with me. You never, make love to me. You never do this. And you just put the word I in front of it. It's usually I don't do this. I don't do this. I come on down to my low level vibration and let's hang out together. Because when you start rising up, people are going to say, you, and they're actually saying, I want what you have. And it's a very powerful way to sit back and listen and be like, oh, wow. And you don't say, oh, no, you don't tell them what you're doing. You just listen. It's just everybody's trying to meet each other at their vibrations. That's powerful. Thank you for sharing. So, who else? George?
So we were doing the exercise there. I kind of revisited something that I'd forgiven myself for, and I was visiting it again. It's really painful for me because it's just embarrassing. It's something I did. I'm ashamed and embarrassed. And so I'm like, halfway through the exercise, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm going to stop. And then I'm like, no. I must need to do that again. Right? So I just find sometimes you have to feel it. I mean, yeah, I know your whole thing, and I get this. I totally get it. Like, forget it and forgive and let it go, right? But sometimes you got to do it again. And sometimes you got to do it again. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. And then the other thing I just want to say real quick is, and JB knows this, right? My life is good right now. Like, I got stuff chasing me. Like excellence is chasing me, right? And so I don't have to seek it anymore. And so I say that to say this, right? You're either in good, life is yin and yang, right? Life is you're either in good times or in bad times, right? There's really not in between. It's usually life is great or life is kind of tough. And right now my life is good, and the one thing that I love about life being good, besides the obvious, is it allows me time to even examine myself deeper and flaws that I have that I forgot I had, right? So it's like, I'm learning so much about myself. So when you're in good times, like enjoy it, but like dig deeper, man.
Yes. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong too. Thank you, George. There's nothing wrong with not forgiving something. That's we were talking about this. It's the question you have to ask yourself is, are you committed to the pain of healing it, or are you committed to the pain of holding on to it? Which one are you more committed to? It's really that simple. Well, are you going to be more committed to holding on to the pain, anger, resentment, or the pain of getting over it? That's a tough thing, right? Like we always say to people, are you more committed to being right or being happy? I'm more committed to being happy, so I just say, okay, all right, as long as it doesn't hurt me spiritually, financially, I'm like, okay, cool, you're right. I'm whatever you think I am, okay, right? So great sharing, thank you. You else like to share?
Let me ask a question. There was a question asked to Laura, so I'll ask it to the group, and I tried to give the best answer I could to it, but because one of the things I wrote, figured to try and forgive myself was to allow myself to calm my mind, stop totally dragging crap into it, which is just ugh. What would you take $1 million right now, or the most beautiful, peaceful, calm mind demeanor for the rest of your life? What would you take?
Peaceful, calm.
That's what I'm saying. I would take the key. And maybe $1 million is not enough to sort of trade off for 10 million, whatever, give it, what money would you, how much money would you take to sort of, how important is that beautiful, imagine waking up just with beauty, like this heavenly.
But you could possibly be a whale. Never mind. Sorry.
I think to the flip side of that is most people don't understand that money's not going to bring them to happiness because they chased it for so long and they never attained it, that they still have that false hope that money's going to bring them that happiness. When all it does is bring you more shit.
We could be sitting, are we hypocrites? And again, I'm only doing it to sort of invite discussion. We're literally a group addicted to effing crypto, and we're loving every minute of it. I love it.
I think that's a great
love it. So here, and crypto is money, but I know we're doing it for more, better reasons than that. But I mean, what?
No, it's a good conversation to have. Yeah, because that's the balance that I fight all the time. If you look on my vision board, I have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini on it. You might question my intentions, right? Why would you get a Lamborghini, JD? Why? What are my intentions, right? What are my intentions to get a Lamborghini?
Lower maintenance than a Lamborghini.
What's it?
Lower maintenance than a Lambo.
But walk through this with me. So what Kev taught me is like, I like cars. There's nothing wrong with them, right? It's the intention of the car, right? Before, when I had a BMW 535i Turbo, when I got out of that car, I looked to see if people were looking to see if I got out of a 535i BMW Turbo. It was my identity. If you scratch that thing, I was going to jack you up. Right? It was like, I was like, I touched and washed all the time, perfect all the time. The tension is what it's all about, right? The thing Kev taught me is like, I would come back to work, so I love Lamborghinis. I think they're beautiful. Kev taught me is like, somebody took so much time to design that car. It is a beautiful machine. The stitching is done by hand. And have you ever driven a Lamborghini? It is freaking fun. And it's like, and it's okay. It goes back to intention. What is your intention with the crypto? What is your intention with, so, like, the thing I gotta remember this guy's name. There's a yogi out there, he drives a Lamborghini, and people get on him on YouTube all the time. Well, you're a yogi, why can't a yogi drive a Lamborghini? Like, that's his thing. He's like, well, just because I'm spiritual means I can't drive a Lamborghini? It's like, go ahead.
Well, what about, like, addiction to crypto? That's
absolutely.
more what I struggle with, because I struggle with addiction.
Yes.
And I just feel like I'm transferring my addiction.
Very powerful. So that's powerful. That's where we should go in this conversation, because it is a massive It's anything outside of yourself, right? It's anything outside of yourself, whether it's food, whether it's opiates, whether it's crypto,